I thought, you know, I hurt my thumb. I trapped my thumb in the door with live season. I've done it again. Oh, hello! Right, we're live. See, I told you I'd get all flustered. What happens? See, I don't make it up. I do. I'm like, oh, live. I said, got to change. Got to get into my performance act. Like, you know. Right. Hello and welcome to Unity 151. My name is Joe, which I presume people know. I've got AdmiralStarNight with me here today. She, I'll tell you a little thing about her. She's been on Raja Fon's, Ramsey's YouTube channel and Gig on Sleeves Cole's. We've been doing a read along of Lost Fleet, but I found her, poached her off of a Facebook website. There's a Lost Fleet one, poached off that, got into Discord, she joined all Discords, we're all friends, buddies, amazing. So yes, that's a little brief history how we met. She's writing her own little book. Yes, we'll talk about her book, talk about my book, writing, story, just fun stuff. That's it, really. So I'm going to talk about myself, a lot of rubbish, and then she's going to talk about her stuff and hopefully she's more interested than I am. That's the plan. Thank you to the two patrons I have. Shout at the beginning. I'm going to try and do that every video at the beginning if I can do that. Darren is one of them, and the other one who gives her a G. I can't pronounce your name. I apologise. I'm fail, but thank you very much. Much obliged. Yeah, so that's that. Right, what have I been doing this week? What day is Monday technically? So this is supposed to be yesterday's video because it's supposed to be a Sunday video, but I failed yesterday. Anywho, what was I going to say? Right, I've been the last couple of weeks, I've been fairly productive. I've getting into swing of some more of the story. I've had a little cameo of him for my friend, who's actually going to be. He's not. His character is just going to. It's a face. What his face looks like. It's not actually anything to do with him. But when it comes to like having a bit of concept art done by my good friend, who's the artist, he's used his face as the template of some of the YouTube videos. I've got templates of people who are aliens. So his little character is going to be in. Who's going to progress into something else over the arc of my story books thing. Done that. Something called a Mag Guard is about to turn up, and it's going to absolutely annihilate everyone. This thing's like a beast. It's going to smash some tanks to pieces. So I'm just building up to that. A few other little bits and bobs I've been just doing on the book. I've decided. I don't know if I talked about this on my Wednesday video I've done a few weeks ago. But I've decided to add a new character to my book because I've got four point of views at the moment. You've got Henham Franklin. Yes, Henham is an admiral, fleet admiral of 550 ships. So he sees the battles from on the flagship, which is a carrier. So he's not really in the thick of it regarding ships. But he sees the whole overarching of the battles of the story that's going on. Then I've got his brother, who's a fighter pilot. Now, it's not like fighter pilot, like as much as I love Battlestar Galactica and all that stuff. It's not like that because that wouldn't really happen. They're more of like a stealthy, sneak in some missiles to try and knock engines out of these big ships. So it's kind of a play on, you know, have fighters, but they're not actually fight each other. They're just like little sneaky things. So he sees battles like that of a small, a single fighter trying to take on big ships. But I sort of thought that I'm missing someone in kind of like a destroyer size, so a smaller ship is a bit more vulnerable. Where like there's a very tight knit crew, it's a smaller crew, and like they're in the thick of the fight, and like the ship takes damage. You think, oh no, I want that crew and that ship to be a character. Where Henham's ship isn't really, it's just a fighter, so it's not really like a character. Where and then Franklin, the way I've done Franklin as a character, he's a bit of a narcissist and an arsehole. So it's all I, me, myself, and I. So because of that, he doesn't care about his ship and the people, so you never feel that. So that's kind of why I'm adding a new character and a new ship. Well, not the ship's about, but the new character of the ship, and hopefully you kind of don't want the ship to blow up and stuff. So that's kind of what I've done. I've got two other characters who are just on a planet. They don't involve the ships. So that's kind of that's kind of what I've been doing, sort of thinking over the last few weeks. And that character is going to tie into the YouTube. Which I haven't done the video, which was supposed to be today because I've been very busy, and my partner who does the voicing has been very busy, and we've not been able to tie it in because she's been a lot of stressful stuff going at work for her, so it's just gone out the window. So I'm originally the YouTube the Yertle prequel thing, or kind of like that was going to run to build up to when my book goes. There's going to be another YouTube going after the book, and that runs in line with the book. And the Yertle thing was going to be a bit, not separate, but just wasn't going to tie in. But I've sort of interweaved some stuff, like a few subtle things. So if you read the book and watched the YouTube thing, you'll be like, oh, that's that person, or that's that planet, or just these few little things, just to make it a little bit bigger and the sort of the lore and all that stuff. That's that. What else have I done channel-wise? Next Sunday, Scott Bartlett is coming back to do another Sunday video. Not next Sunday, because technically it's Monday day. So on Sunday, we're going to do a Sunday video with Scott Bartlett. He's going to chat about books and some writing stuff. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some stuff. And then I think the Sunday after that, we are doing The Lost Fleet, the 30th. We're doing the next Lost Fleet of book 2, or Beyond the Frontiers. It is book 2, isn't it? Is it book 2?
I think so.
Yes, book 2, because I'm book 3. They'll be coming to mine, because I'm always the third one, because the way it went. Yes, that's that. That's my little thing. AdmiralStarNight, how has your week or 2 weeks or whatever been going?
Well, considering last week was my vacation week from work, I actually managed to get some writing done for once.
Good.
In my my book in Novu Soul, I've managed to finally introduce the I think it's the third nation that has a part of the the big space opera that I'm trying to weave here.
Cool.
It's and there's also because this book, the book which is just called Novu Soul, is like the introductory book. I'm trying to introduce all the characters, and then I'll funnel down each book after that into their respective nations as they're affected by the main character of the whole series. And I've also managed to, in the last couple chapters, finally turned the I don't like saying villain, because they're not really the villain. I guess antagonist. They're the antagonist of the story. I finally managed to actually make them look a little bit of like the assholes they're supposed to be.
Very good.
It's like when I first introduced them as the I'm not afraid to say it, their names are the Stellar Democracy of Novu Soul, just to give them their long and proper name. And when I first introduced them, the plan was to make them look good, and then as time goes on, they start degrading, because they're not the saints they wish they were, or they say they are, at the very least. So for the first few chapters, there was kind of like, what's wrong with these people? And then now it's kind of like it's starting to get a little worse, and it's like, oh, these people aren't really doing what they said they were supposed to do. So it's all going to be,
it's all going downhill for them.
It's starting to go downhill. I don't want to say it's speeding, it's out of control just yet, because I've still got a few more books before they go completely off the rails. But yeah, they're getting to the bad part of what they're supposed to be.
So what's your book sort of about then? Because I read your first chapter. I think it was your first chapter a while ago, and I'm not going to lie, I've forgotten. I've read a lot of books since then. I can't even remember what happens in the last few books I read. I take so much. My brains are terrible. So what was it about? What? No, I do remember a bit actually. Was it? No, you tell me. I'm going to just make up something with one book.
Well, I can read you the blurb, and then I can tell you kind of like what it's supposed to be about. Okay. And the blurb for Novu Soul is a universe where the soul sort of sorry, I get tongue tied with too many S's.
No, don't you worry about it.
A universe where Sol's star system no longer belongs to humans. Artificial intelligence are feared, and people now live on multiple planets among the stars. The stellar democracy of Novu Sol is the oldest, largest, and most powerful nation. The nation that claims to be the paragon of virtue, everything a person could ask for with only minor flaws. But even they have skeletons in their closets. The Admiral is their biggest one which they intend to bury for good. Not if the Admiral can help it. In the turmoil of human existence, it's easy to lose sight of your dreams and forget your goals. So that's the back blurb for the book. And the idea behind Novu Sol in the series that is hopefully to come is that I follow the character, which is just called the Admiral. That's what her name pretty much is at this point. If you call her by a real name, she'll murder you.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, she's anti-hero is what I've been told or I've researched. She's is what effect the Admiral has had on the universe and how what she's been doing in her travels. You know, it says she's a skeleton to the stellar democracy, and I do introduce in the story, so it's not exactly a spoiler, and it's not supposed to be hidden that the Admiral stole a battle cruiser from the stellar democracy. She killed the entire crew. She bombed a city of 3.5 billion people, and she ran off with the warship, and she's been on the run ever since. So she's not a good person, but
I like her. I mean,
yeah, and but but her job in the meantime, because when you steal a battle cruiser, you kind of need, supplies and food and stuff. She's been teaching people how to fight in different navies in different nations all over the galaxy while running from the stellar democracy. So what she's doing is going to have knock-on effects until the end of the series, and that's what we're kind of following. It's like, what has she done, what she's done, and how it goes forward from this point. If she never existed, this story wouldn't have, this universe would be very different and things wouldn't be the way it is. So what is she doing to make all of this possible?
So how did you come up with that character? Let's go into a bit of that. What gave you that inspiration?
That's actually kind of funny because I just came up with her one day when I was in high school, I think. I was bored. I was sitting at my computer looking at like a character sheet, like a blank character sheet, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a psychopathic naval officer, and it's going to be awesome. And I did. The character sheet is still somewhere on DeviantArt. I don't want to pull it up because it's a little bit out of date. So, but that's how she came into existence. And eventually I came back and I'm like, what sort of universe would this person live in? Because she stole a ship. She killed a bunch of people. How is she still alive? And I came back and it's like, well, she's on the run, sort of. She's really good at her job. She's extremely brilliant. It's like, what universe could foster that person into existence and give her to get her to the point, where she is in the series.
Cool. Okay. So when I sort of like make up my characters, I kind of like I've done like two ways of like trying to come up with someone. I've either like had like an action happen and then the character fills that spot, and then that sort of in my head I just sort of think and dream about stuff and it goes on, and I just have like I've come up with my sort of interest and what I think's interesting anyway. And then other times I've like, right now I'm having this character, I find a picture, I'm like, this is what it's going to look like, or she's going to look like, just guys I've done it with at the moment, this is what it's going to look like. All right, all these few little traits down, like this is what this person's going to be, I'm going to stick to it. And as I'm writing, I'm like, he's going to be like, he's going to be an arse. He's going to be an arse. And he turns out he's sarcastic. He's actually got conscience. It's like, he's not being an arse. He's got, and then that's it. He becomes someone else. So I just sort of like, that paper gets ripped up, gets thrown away. And I have a completely new character. That's kind of like my two ways of making up these people, which I think is probably a common way that a lot of other people have, really.
Yeah, I've done that before in other stories I've written. I've not that I've had a lot of those, but it's like the inspiration only comes in certain ways. You know, you see a picture where you know, character X on the page and you're like, now you need a name. Now you need a personality. Oh, hey, I actually want to keep you now. You're not just a rando anymore.
Yeah, so I've had two things. I think a couple side characters who's with Cade. Cade's got quite not fleshed out, but they've got a bit of, there's some difference to them and stuff. I'm like, I'm at a point now where I need to kill some people off, but it's not, I don't need to, but it's just the way the story is. Like, you know, it's you know, the planet's been invaded. There's like millions of these aliens. Like, I mean, they're all aliens. There's aliens on both sides, but there's millions of like aliens of species I've never met before, invading them, killing them, all and stuff. Death's happening everywhere, and like, I don't know who to kill, because like they've all kind of like progressed through, and like they've all, you know, because Cade's story, like where I'm at the moment, as I was saying, that like just a little thing that's going on. You've basically got, there's a street, a big long street, code name Dauntless of the Enemy. They're heading up with all their tanks and their armored and all the troops and stuff, and they've got troops in the buildings and stuff, so they're coming up, and then Unity side's going down. They've started clashing, tanks have killed each other, fighting, blah blah, all that stuff. Cade's had to go with his squad in one building. There's another squad going the other side, or a couple of them going the other side, and what they do, they have to go, because they can't get down the streets no more, and they need to get to the, so they can get further down and shoot down. What they're doing, they're basically putting charges on the walls, blowing through the partition wall, going into the next building, and they're blowing their way through. And then once they get through, they're then fighting the aliens in the house. And then there's other squads on the ground going like through the gardens and around the back. So that's kind of what's going on. Because obviously fighting all over the streets, like it's just like a humongous, you know, aliens are just dropping all over the place, and they're dropped at the same time because stuff in space. So where that's going on, what was I going to say? Yeah, so then some tanks are fighting. They've just cleared a load of stuff out. Did anyone die? A couple people died who are sort of like just like what I call third characters. You've got like your main characters, you've got secondaries who have got names, you know who they are, and they talk a bit of personality to them. You've got the third characters, just like Joe Blob, who are just like, you know, just there, says like one word, hey. Some of them have just died. I want to kill a couple more. There's a last scene that happens where there's Cade and a few people or a few species with him. Tim's another character, and he's got a couple with him, and they're together dealing with this thing, which is going to be the Mag Guard. And the Mag Guard's what's just turning up now. So I need to like really like slice the cast up a bit. I know a couple who's going to make it, but I've got to kind of like decide who's going to make it and who's sort of going to be, you know what I mean, who I feel effectively will die now, and then who's going to be when it happens, the big battle at the end. That's kind of where I'm at now. I'm preparing for that, because there's not on my story, because he hasn't got loads of chapters left. I think there's like 3 to 4 chapters of him, which is the last thing that goes on. I think it's 5 chapters of the last thing that happens, and that's split between Tim's point of view and Cade's point of view, because they're both together anyway. So I can split that between the two. You know what I mean? So yes, Cade's story's probably got about maybe 5 more chapters. And there's Tim. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my struggle at the moment, sort of working out.
Killing main characters, it's hard.
So I kind of, you know, I don't want to just kill people for the sake of it. Just like, oh look, no blood and death enough. But something I really don't like is in a series where you know your characters are safe. So I've started reading. Started listening to Blood on the Stars by not Anthony James. Maybe it's Anthony. No, Jay Allen. I think Jay Allen. One of them guys. Really good. space, because you're in really into space battles. Space battle heavy. There's a little bit of ground stuff, bit like Dauntless, Lost Fleet, a little bit thing, but the space battle's really good. I'll advise that if you don't know if you listen to it. Have you read it or listened to it?
No, but it's on a list now.
Yeah,
It
it's good. And there's I think he's up to 18 books now, and people are still liking it, so he's doing really well. But my only thing is, if it's the same guy 18 books deep, you know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like where I know characters aren't gonna die, because it's like, oh, like something happens, like he gets sick, and you're like, oh, he's sick, you know, he could die, but he's not gonna die though. I kind of know he's not gonna die, and that's something that I do like about Game of Thrones, or the Song of Ice and Fire. Is no one's really safe, you know, and I do like that personally. I know not everyone does like that, so that's kind of
the series where I first encountered that I remember, at least because I have the memory of a goldfish sometimes, is the Honor Harrington series. Have you ever heard the reputation of that one?
I have heard a bit of it. I haven't read them, but I have heard a bit.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's considering she's on the last cover of the last book, it's not a spoiler that she doesn't die. And there was a point where she was supposed to die, but David Weber, you know, the writer, he was expecting such a backlash to the idea that he killed off a different character, and the series suffered for it. So and there was even plans, I believe. I don't know if David ever like wrote down those plans anywhere, like in any first drafts, but that we were supposed to focus on the children of Honor after she was supposed to die, rather than letting her go off into the sunset with the last book.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, and I hope I don't have the same issue, because I'm still early days, so I know what's gonna happen, but
see, my plan with mine is so this book is a standalone book. It's an invasion. It's called Invasion of Rain. The planet's called Rain. Excuse me. It's a standalone story. Some of these characters are going to die. Some may survive, but they don't affect the greater story. What I'm going for is, because the scale of what my story is, they're fighting in I think it's Lucaria supercluster, which is what we're actually in. Really, is I think 100,000 galaxies make up the supercluster, which we are actually in. So my story takes place of that, and like you've got thousands and thousands of galaxies, these mega super, not alliances because they're single, like factions have got. So this war's kicked off, and this war's going to last for hundreds of thousands of years, or 50,000 years, or whatever it is I've worked out. So your characters are just a speck in this thing. So it's just their struggles within this greater event that's happening. So some characters might, I mean, it won't go down if they go the whole length, it's a long time. But, you know what I mean? They could go multiple books and stuff that's happening, but it's more about characters have, like, normal people dealing with these issues in this greater arcing problem that's going on. And that's kind of what I want. So, like, you know, if I have a character that people like, and I might decide, okay, keep them going for a couple of books, but I don't want to keep clinging on to one person, you know, because it just gets stagnant, you know, like bringing new characters, this person can kind of have a new character with him. Okay, that's cool. And then get rid of the old character, you know, bringing, you know, that's what my plan is. A bit brutal, I think. That's my plan, anywho. Right, shall we look at your cover, which you've got?
If you want to, here I can get rid of the other stuff that I have up there right now.
That, and then and then we'll show this off. So this is your cover. You are steps above me, as in like I haven't got my cover yet. So did you did that yourself? Did you?
Yeah, I did. I want to say I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I'm kind of, sort of, maybe. I don't do it for I don't do it for a living. And funny story, the only reason I actually became a graphic designer in the first place is because I can't draw at all in real life, And I remember back when I was in high school, I looked up at a poster and it had a very pretty planet on it and a spacescape. And it says, "Do you want to be able to make this? Take graphic design." And I'm like, yes, I want to be able to make this. So the only reason I went to college, got the degree, is because I saw a poster and I went, I want to make planets in space. And that's the only reason that I can do, I can do this today. This is my favorite thing to do. I love making spacescapes. And it's,
Cool.
this year, it's going to be a theme. But this planet here is actually Novu Sol itself. And you can't really see much, but that's kind of on purpose because it's kind of clouded in mystery at the moment. The biggest splotch on let's see, I don't know my directions, on the right of the image, on that landmass, that's the capital of the stellar democracy, Genesis City, whatever. It's the biblical, the Bible book that started it all. Yeah, and each of the books as they go on, they'll each feature a planet and different, in each planet as it goes on. Like the next book, once I get to it, because I think that'll be soon-ish, in writers terminology, soon-ish, soon TM is going to be Callias 3.
How many words are you going for?
You mean in the book?
Your book.
I have no clue.
So what are you at now then?
God. I have no clue. I don't even think Wattpad like tells you that, because here, let me go look and see if I can find it, because let's see.
Do you want me to shut your
publish thing down? No, it's on my other screen. Don't worry about it.
All right.
It's other than like my prologue in chapter 10, my chapter 10's like, I think 3,000 words, and my first one's like 1,100. It's like most of them have been averaging at like 2,500. So I can't do math, so whatever that is.
How many chapters did you say you got?
I currently have 10 chapters plus the prologue, so it's technically 11.
Yeah, so you got about up to 30,000 if you got 2,500 words then.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm aiming for, because I never
20, 30, maybe around 30, 35.
Yeah.
You've got 250,000. If 2,500 a chapter, 5 is 75,000.
Yeah, I don't aim for words, for word counts. I aim for getting what needs to be put in the chapter down, as long as it's not like extending it for too long, because since it is currently on the internet and it's not an actual book you can flip through, it kind of needs to be a little shorter in its format. Now, I'm not cutting off any of the story to like fit it in. Like, I'm not chopping anything I'm planning to put. It's just, if there's something going on in the same, not the same scene, but like the same planet or something, I'll split it between like chapters. Like if it's one day and then the next day, or if I'm transferring between one character and another character, it'll go between them instead of like shoving like 5 different, 2,000 word.
So what's your feedback been like then, as you've put it on the internet?
I haven't really gotten anything from, not on the story itself, right, because I have put some stuff out there and people have been like, this is cool looking, because I've made a few things. I'm gonna, since you're sharing the screen, I'm gonna, let's see here.
Go for it.
Here, show you the other things I've made here. I'm gonna put that away for now. Drag these in. See, like these things here. These are all world building things I put on Reddit, and they're like, oh, these are kind of cool, or what are you doing with this, or what does this mean, or I kind of misinterpreted this. What are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, this is It's like people liked, you know, they
What's the
thought
Mooser?
the mouse. It's supposed to be Mouser, but Mouser most yeah. Sorry. It's it's a very small world building detail. I haven't really built into it yet, but the idea is we're in space. We have spaceships. Spaceships have food on them, and space is an ocean. So guess what? Humans brought the rats with them, the vermin back. So we tried everything, but it's not working. You know, we tried the nanites, we tried intelligent traps and robots and poisons, but you know what? We'll just go back to the cats. So this is the naval mouser is a breed of cats that's specifically designed for military naval vessels to use as their cats.
Cool.
Because they're you know, as it said, they're intelligent, fast, athletic. I have a whole what do you call it, like blurb of it on Reddit, but the TLDR is that because they are working on Navy ships and it's not a civilian ship, there's a lot more hazards and they have to be able to react properly and be trained. So if the general quarters alarm goes off, they need to know to run to their cages. That will save them in the event of the ship blowing up, maybe, you know, since it's never guaranteed. But they need to be able to train to bring the dead rats to the right place, how to navigate the ship, how to deal with, you know, 0G in case the gravity goes down. So they're extremely intelligent and everything. And this middle picture right here, this little guy right here is his name is Bulkhead, and he was just the first one, like, to say, you know, somebody saw their cat and they're like, you know what, we want more, so they made more. So
interesting.
I'm gonna get rid of those. And this one here is the what do you call it, like my my guide
Ranks.
to officers ranks of the Novu Sol Navy. And the I know it's very hard to see these, but it's very hard to show what this is supposed to be, because this is I don't know what year it is yet. I haven't done the math yet. It's supposed to be like year 3000 something, but the fabrics are smart and the things they can do are impressive. But the blue is supposed to be like a metallic safety color, you know, like the safety vests you would see on construction people. So they shine easy in the light.
They're aluminum. So they illuminate. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much what they do. So they're black with blue blue accents. Unlike, you know, everybody else in the universe is going to use, you know, the dark with light or light with dark. So they know. But Novu Sol is the only one that does the dark color with this strange material. And it's almost supposed to be intimidating in a way. Right. Because one of the things somebody brought up, it's like, well, how are people supposed to know? And it's like, they're not. It's like you see somebody in a dark black ship in a uniform or something, and you don't see the stripes, and you're like, I'm gonna go gank this person, and you turn around and you see the you know, the reflection of the stripes. It's like, it's no longer just a random person. It's, you know, you're gonna bring the Navy down on the biggest, you know, the largest Navy of the universe down on your head if you attack this person. So you better step back. And the admiral who comes from this Navy, she wears her uniform, and it's, let's see, which one is it? It's O10. She's an O10, technically, since she's no longer a naval officer of Novu Sol. But she wears the uniform all the time. So not only is it part of the largest Navy that you have to be afraid of pissing off, but if it's on the wrong person and you're pissing off the admiral, you're it's even worse because she doesn't have any morals to stop her from doing something worse to you.
That's fair enough. So you made these yourself then, all these little symbols and stuff?
Yeah, I not reused assets, but I have references and stuff. But
yeah, well, everything's based on something.
Yeah, I pretty much sat down one evening and I handmade this whole little rank structure, and I still want to go through and do there's God, how many other?
Well, there's quite a few more in there. There's obviously, you just got the bit more brief a bit of it. There's a lot more.
Yeah, there's more. But I plan on doing, because it's I call it a naval space opera because that's what I'm focusing on, the Navy aspect of the space opera. I plan on doing all the other nations, which is three other major ones that are going to come up in the books to come as we travel the universe and everything. So yeah, but these are the antagonistic and the main characters, like uniform symbols. So
I've done something kind of similar to that. I haven't got the pictures and stuff, but I've redone all my ranking. So I've used. I mean, it has to be tied to what we are now, as people won't know. But like it's kind of / America / the British militaries and stuff. And I've added a few things, extended stuff and that, because it's obviously quite a big scale. We're not doing with a planet. We're talking, thousands of galaxies, which are millions and millions of planets per galaxy. So it's taken into account of that, expanded a lot of it, but kept it fairly simple enough so it's understandable. But I've gone, I've admirals over admirals, grand admirals, linking. Then you've got the people in charge of the admirals who are in charge of galaxies, and then there's chapters, because just loads of stuff. It's so fun, but then sometimes I'm doing it, I think, right, okay, I've got to do this one. I need something on top of this. I think, whew, it's getting a bit tiring. This is the amount of like military people and like that stuff I've got, and I do the same for they're called Marines, but I'm not calling them Marines. We got like I can't know what they're called now. I think I've called them something drop troopers or something like that. But like, so you got them, and you got the normal army, and you got the Space Navy, and then there's the Air Force, because there's still the Space Navy and the Air Force side a bit different to a degree. So you got that, and then there's the police, because police have their own rankings and stuff, and you won't see loads of police and stuff like that. But I was doing the rankings anyway, so I thought, well, I might as well do it all, Then I did. Then you've got obviously the fire brigades, and then the last one was like the medical stuff, which is a bit brief, but it's just sort of small little bits of detail I want to do. Like, I want to put the effort in. So like when, like, if a medical person turns up, I don't just be like, oh, medical person turned up. It'd be like whatever rank they are, something that would tie into what they was. So just trying to make it so people like think, oh, he actually did a little bit more research than.
So you're not just throwing stuff at the wall. That's why I have this, and I plan on making the other ones. It's so that way, if I'm throwing a bunch of commanders or whatever from all the different navies or whatever into a single room, and I say kill each other until you find out who's the highest rank, it's like we know who actually is higher or lower depending on, because this here is a I modified it, like the picture, there was a picture under this that I used as a basis. It was a US rank symbol system, and I think the only thing I changed, well, actually, I think I changed two things, but I didn't like. There was no. I think it was the vice admiral. I changed. It's been a while. I used to be Navy mad, and then I got over it. It was like I added 2 tiers for the vice admiral.
Yeah, because I think they don't use.
We don't.
I think the
U.S. does not
yeah.
use Commodore. I think
Yeah.
there's 2 rear admirals, then it's vice admiral, and then admiral. So instead, I gave it a single rear admiral, and then 2 different
Yeah.
vice admirals, because the stellar democracy. I haven't introduced the idea into the story yet, but it's not a spoiler. They have over like 100 planets, and they also guard the it's called the buffer zone in the story, which is they're like a bit of a zone before a whole swath of quarantine stars where nobody is allowed to go. So it's over 100 planets. That's a lot of. Not all of them have fleets, obviously, as that's very expensive, but that's still a lot of planets and a lot of people. So you're going to need higher ranking people. And then of course it's buffer zone, which is it's absolutely huge swath of space. Needs higher ranking people out there as well to guard the quarantine zone all the way back to Old Sol. So top heavy Navy. Let's just put it that. Let's call it that. So you can.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was saying earlier. I've done that, and then I've added on top of them for people who overlook them, because you've got the main person in charge who's actually got nothing to do with the story. That person in charge, and then he's got 2 under him, and then they split into 2, and then just like multiple, like a pyramid, just goes out and out and out. Who then go to a point of where they look after each chapters, and the chapters, all the territories divided up into 50 chapters, and then you've got the chapter. I've got chapter leaders. You've got the chapter leaders, and then underneath them, each galaxy has whoever's in charge of the galaxies, and then it's in charge of the solar systems, and then in charge of the planets. So, and then a lot of stuff. You just it's just you think. I think it's cool when I'm doing it. Hopefully when a book comes out, people will be like, "Oh, it wasn't too bad, Joe." I mean, some of it was a bit big, a bit ambitious, but it was, it was okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm tired. It's late over here. It's nearly 12 o'clock for me.
That's fine.
Right. I'm happy. Is there anything else you want to chat about? Anything? What do you reckon?
I don't really think so.
No?
Other than the fact that story's out on Wattpad right now, and it's going over to Royal Road in I don't want to say new and improved, but new and slightly improved, maybe, as I go through and edit out like little mistakes and grammar errors that I wanted to change. So hopefully, maybe
if you
this
send me
week.
your link, I'll add it in the description.
Yeah, I can do that in the I don't want to get any, if anybody's listening, anybody's hopes up, but hopefully chapter 11 will be done by the end of this week, because I've been on the kick lately because of my vacation, and writing the story.
Hopefully
so.
someone could give you some feedback, because feedback always helps everyone grow, doesn't it? So
yeah, hopefully I can get my chapter 11 out. And
so what's your plans? So you're just going to just smashing it out. Have you got any goals you're trying to hit? Any sort of main points you're getting to?
The not like, I think I said earlier, it's like I don't have a word, I don't have a word count. I just want to have the story exist, exist as it does, as long or short as it needs to be. So I just want the story to get done, and then I move on. There's going to be I have a plan for Trios, Free, Centurion, and 6. I have a plan for 6 books in this first series. Spoiler warning. And there's 2. There's 2 more series way off in the future. So, but I hope to have 6 books, in this series. So that's what I'm aiming for, which is, as you said, it's kind of ambitious for somebody who only has 10 and a half chapters written right now, but that's as long as the story needs to go. So that's what I'm aiming for. You know, 6 books.
See, this is the approach I've taken. Like, because it doesn't matter. I feel it doesn't matter how much work I put into my first book. It's after it goes out, there's gonna be so much I need to learn. And for me, the worst thing I think for me personally would be do a book that's going to be a series. The first book's terrible because it's the first time I've ever done a book, and then no one ever wants to they won't read the second book because the first one sucks. You know what I mean? Because they won't get right through the first one. So that's why I'm making my first one evolved in that greater story of what's going on. It's just it's self-contained, and then if people like it, I can just carry on with the overarching story of new characters, and maybe if any survive, I'll bring them over. But I'm my goal for this week, I'm going to finish off this thing with the Mad Guard. There should be about another 2 more chapters. We'll finish that little story up. And then I've got to work out, because then I'm sort of getting to nearly the end of Cade and Tim are together now. This little thing's going on. They actually got together. So I've got to sort of finish off Cade and Tim, now head them onto what leads up to the final, not boss fight, but the boss fight, because going up against this Mad Guard thing again.
Sounds good enough to me. Final boss fight.
That's it. Yeah, it's this thing's Mad Guard. My good friend, the artist guy, how do you pronounce his name? Okay, wait, it's NeutronBoar. He's gonna hopefully at some point when he has time, he's a busy man, sketch up what this Mad Guard looks like. It's kind of, that's the plan. Fingers crossed anyway. What I'll do for my book, for the book one, I'm actually going to have a lot of, I'm planning, hopefully, because I'm not doing it for money, I'm doing it for actually put out a decent story. Every page or every chapter page will be a just a black and white picture of either a character or something with some information, maybe a weapon, maybe a picture of a tank or something like that with some information.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what I'm going to go for. Because we've sort of worked out a little bit of a deal and some stuff, and work all that out. But because I'm not doing it for money, I'm doing it to get the story out. I want people to hopefully be like, oh, well, that's quite an interesting story. Then all this additional lore per chapter, because my chapters are about 2,500 to 3,000 words. So I'm 70 odd thousand in, and I think I'm about 20 something chapters. 20. I don't think I'm 30 chapters yet. So it's 30, but so it'll be 30 so far. It'll be 30 pieces of art, but they work. So if it's black and white, it's the same as printing text, so it doesn't cost you no extra money when it comes to actually the printing, because it's only when it gets to colors it gets more expensive. So if you're just doing black and white, print is printing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, just thought people might like it, because I've got a lot of aliens in it. If I do have a picture of what an alien looks like on the chapter, when the chapter starts with this alien will be in it, people are like, because there's something called a bracken, for example. They've got the kind of humanoid with a big fat neck, which kind of looks a bit like a testicle, actually. But anyway, it's not meant to. But kind of, if you explain it, they could look like that. But if they saw the picture, they'd be like, all right, so that's a bracken. Bit of information about the bracken, just for people who might be interested. And then when you're reading it, you already know what the bracken looks like. Where trying to explain what lots of aliens look like, I don't want to cram a book full of description because it can yank people out of the story. So by having that on a picture, because then when it goes to the Kindle and ebook stuff or whatever, you can still have that stuff on there. The only time it wouldn't come into effect is if it was on an Audible. Whether I'm good enough to get it onto an Audible, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's it. That's my plans for this week. Just finish off Cade's Tim Sawyer, get to leading to the end. Yeah. That's it. I'm done. How are you feeling? You good? We done 50 minutes. There we go. Yeah, you're telling me you didn't know if you had enough to talk about. There we go. All right. Well, I'm cool. Are you cool?
Yep, I am.
Perfect. Right, I'll add that stuff in the description. If anyone's interested, go read her books. for what you've done. Bit of feedback, should appreciate that. Thank you for watching. We've had a couple of people chilling out of us. Much obliged. Much love. Thank you. All that stuff. We're going now. Bye. I do it every time. I've got to press the X. There we go. Oh, I'm so slow at this. There we go.